Hi, this is John Alex. Welcome to a surprise deck tech. We weren't doing too well with the 4-color Delver deck I played in the last 3 matches I uploaded. I started playing the 4th one, but it was also quite non-interactive, and then something came up and got me distracted, so I decided to just stop at the L3 and record a new league with the Delverless version of the list, which I actually think is superior anyway. And I figured, yes, you did not technically vote for the 4-color Delverless list, but the 4-color Delver League was not great anyway, so here's basically just a few free matches with this deck. As I said before, I cut the Delvers. I actually think I mentioned this in the 4-color Delver deck tech that I wanted to cut the Delvers, and I also think that I actually went into the changes I made. To recap, just the slight skeleton, a basic skeleton of the deck. We have counter magic, free counter magic, and some 1-mana counter magic, because we don't want to lose to combo decks or control decks. 3 copies of Thoughtseize, which double up and are great with Snapcaster Mage. 7 removal spells, Lightning Bolt, Abrupt Decay. Actually, not sure how much I like Abrupt Decay in this current format. Definitely do like Lightning Bolt. Decay is kind of narrow. There are no counterbalances you want to hit. There are, however, Chalices and Blood Moons, which you are always happy to hit. So, yeah, not sure. I also like it against Grixis sometimes, and sometimes I hate it for costing 2 mana. We have the 4 Deathrite Shamans to make the mana work, to be additional combo hate, to be a clock that can't really be blocked, to be a mana dog. You know what Deathrite Shaman does. 2 copies of Baleful Strix, because I really like it against decks like Grixis. Also against most control decks, actually. 3 copies of Snapcaster Mage, because Snapcaster is great value. Snapcaster was also in the Delver version of the deck. This version cut Delvers for Strix and the counter magic. But yeah, Snapcaster Mage is just good value, especially with all these cheap interactive spells. And this list actually has True Name Nemesis over Gomak Angler. The number of threats in this list is much lower. It's it's lower than it seems in comparison. The original list had 12 creatures, this has 11. But this also has Baleful Strix rather than Delver of Secrets, and Delver of Secrets is a card that draws Swords to Plowshares, which Deathrite Shaman also does, which makes Gomak Angler better. But without those creatures, or without the Delvers, you just only have Gomak Angler, and then those are always hit by Swords to Plowshares when you play against white decks, so I'd rather have True Name Nemesis here. And this also, I think, makes sense with Deathrite and Baleful Strix, which provide a lot of chip damage, and Lightning Bolt, Snapcaster Lightning Bolt. The Evasive Cloak of True Name Nemesis is really quite good. 4 Ponder for Brainstorm, because Legacy. 2 copies of Night's Whisper, because it's actually a much better card than it seems on paper. It turns out drawing 2 cards for 2 mana and Legacy is great. It also makes the mana base a little better. You're low on lands, but kind of a high curve. You draw a lot of extra cards between Strix, Night's Whisper, and your cantrips. And then there's also Alive from the Loam. I realized that I didn't like Wasteland too much, but sometimes it works great, so I cut the 4th Wasteland for Alive from the Loam, which might seem weird, but Alive from the Loam also is a real land drop, some of the time at least, which Wasteland isn't. So if you play against a Delver deck and you ever loam for 2 or 3 lands, you're usually in a very good position. And there's also the potential to sometimes randomly waste lock your opponent. The mana base is really straightforward. It's pretty much the inverse Grixis Delver mana base with the 3 tropical, 1 volcanic, 2 underground sea. And then there's also a Badlands to be able to cast everything of 2 lands, tropical and Badlands, and 8 fetches, because we want our cantrips to be good. The sideboard, 2 Flusterstorms for the combo matchups. Graveyard Hate, Grafdigger's Cage, Surgical. Not actually sure if I like Grafdigger's Cage here. It could also be another Surgical, or like Nihil's Spellbomb, Tormod's Crypt. There are a few options. Cage isn't usually great with Snapcaster Mage, but I still like it against Storm, because it shuts off Past in Flames. Pyroblast also mainly for combo matchups, but also for mid-range mirrors where your opponent has True Name Nemesis and Snapcaster Mage, and I guess control decks which have Jace. Blazing Volley is pretty much exclusively against Storm. Of course you do bring it in against creature decks, but Storm's the main reason you have Blazing Volley over something like Fire Covenant. 2 copies of Kolaghan's Command, because sometimes you need to grind, and Kolaghan's Command is better than most cards in the format. Maybe not better than Jace, but I don't think Jace is a good fit for this deck. 2 copies of Fatal Push, because sometimes you need extra removal. Diabolic Edict is actually a great card right now. It deals with True Name Nemesis, Gormak Angler, which none of the other removal spells in this deck hit, except if you can't Baleful Strix, which you could. True Name also blocks Unless. And then you have 2 copies of Counterspell on the sideboard, which I guess seems a little weird, but I actually quite like them. They are good in the combo matchups in combination with Snapcaster Mage. They are good against all mid-range decks. And I do not like Thoughtseize all that much in mid-range mirrors, because hands do empty quite fast. But then you get to bring in Counterspell, which is actually much better with Snapcaster Mage in those matchups. If you late game top deck Thoughtseizes and Dazes, that's really, really annoying. But if you top deck Counterspells instead, well, Daze is still bad, but if you swap the Thoughtseizes for Counterspell, that's a lot better for you most of the time. And I guess that's it. I hope this didn't last too long, and you will get to see the first match with this deck soon. Before that, I would like to remind you that you can vote on the deck on playing 2 leagues after this. The next one is going to be Spiral Tide, and for the one after, the vote is between Grixis Control, Team America, which is Him to Turok, Bog Delver, and Blue Black Reanimator. I will link the straw poll in the description down below, and thank you very much for tuning in. See you with the first match in a few seconds. Take care.